Hi, my name is Jody. Welcome to my channel, The Planner Pages Edit. Today we're going to talk planner ecosystems. What are they, why it's a good idea to have one, and what my current planner ecosystem looks like for August. So let's get started. So first of all, what is a planner ecosystem? Basically, a planner or notebook ecosystem is the practice of using more than one planner or notebook at a time for different purposes. And often, the different planners and notebooks will complement one another or even talk to one another. Chances are you might already have an ecosystem in place and not even know it, or you're calling it by a different name. That's great. And yes, I can hear all you planner addicts out there rejoicing. You can stop feeling guilty about your growing collection and accept the fact that this is a legit practice. The only key is you have to be using your items. So functionality really is the key word when it comes to planner ecosystems. But why is this practice such a good idea? Believe it or not, studies and articles have shown that using an ecosystem improves organization by forcing you to compartmentalize all the information you are keeping track of so that things aren't getting mixed up. So for instance, it's probably not a good idea to use the same planner for work and personal needs. It's a lot cleaner if you separate the two. And on that same note, you probably wouldn't want to use your school or academic planner to also serve as your Bible study planner. Get what I'm saying? So today I'm going to walk you through my current planner ecosystem. And I should mention that I also have a notebook ecosystem too, of course, but we'll save that for another episode. And before we dive in, just one note for y'all. My planner ecosystem is not static. It changes with my needs, and I will go through a rotation as often as once a quarter. There are no hard and fast rules for keeping an ecosystem. The key word is just using what you have. Not simply collecting, but actually using your planners and notebooks. So let's take a tour. I'm going to start with my daily carry, which I'm currently using for work. And this is in the personal ring size. And it's a new setup for me, but I'm already loving it. This folio is in the color ash, and it's from Cloth and Paper, as are all the inserts and accessories in this planner. So I should note, for those of you who are new to this channel, for the first half of this year, I actually used the larger half-letter disc setup as my daily planner for work. And that did a fantastic job of carrying me through my busiest time of year. But as I started to travel more for work, I realized I needed something smaller, but just as functional. And so I decided to give this size a try. I'll also admit the revelation of trying personal rings came to me during the middle of the year, which is when I felt that I actually also needed a planner refresh. I'm happy to say this size has delivered. So as of now, I've just got the essentials stocked up inside of her. And you'll see here on the left side, I've filled the pockets with some deco. I've kept a little other in this pocket, an envelope of additional journal cards and stickers in case I need it while I'm on the go. I also have this clear plastic inbox dashboard where I just stick on-the-go memos as I'm going about my day. This is kind of the note parking lot. I don't want to have to worry about how to find these later on when I need them. So as things come to me, they go here. And then you'll see I'll just have more deco here. But the functional part of this planner really starts with the Cloth and Paper dated monthly insert. And I'm going to start with the monthly goals. And I've broken my August goals section into 8 headings. And that is because there are 8 boxes on this page. So for August, I have used the following categories: travel, deadlines, priorities, to-do items, follow-up items, projects, memos, and things to keep on my radar. And in these boxes, I'm just putting the top priority for each category for the month of August. No need to try and squeeze every single thing related to these headings into the box because it's not going to fit. I keep it high priority and top level so that I have an at-a glance of my top monthly needs. I do have a little more space here for important dates for the month and a self-explanatory monthly checklist. There is also a space for priorities, and this section right here is originally meant to keep track of bills, but I've repurposed it as an extension of important dates. Since for this month at least, I filled up the dates section rather quickly. There was a lot going on. This left page allows for a little more creativity. So I've decorated it with stickers and page flags. I put a quote. You're going to notice that there are quotes throughout all my planners. They help keep me motivated. And then just some additional reminders that I want to keep track of. And then here is my monthly overview for August. And again, I don't try to cram every single meeting or deadline into this space. It won't fit. There is another place for those details in this planner, and I'll be showing that to you shortly. Again, this is just meant to serve as an at-a-glance view of the priorities for this month with a little color and flair to make things interesting. And then I use this blank note page to outline what's coming up for the next month, as I usually have a good idea of major milestones that are on the horizon. And then, of course, more deco to keep things interesting and quotes to keep me motivated. So using this handy today bookmark, I'm going to jump to my daily work schedule. And this is where I enter all the details around my meetings and deadlines for the week. And this is from Cloth and Paper's Undated Daily Insert. And these inserts are organized into daily priorities, tasks. There's a space for my daily schedule, and it starts at 7 a.m. and ends at 9 a.m. And then additional space under the tasks for notes or stickers. I like to keep it very clean and simple and functional. And for me, this insert ticks off all the boxes. I will add that when I moved from the half letter size, which is a little larger than this, to this smaller personal size, I was very concerned about space. And I know myself, my handwriting gets pretty bad the smaller the space I have to write in it. But what I have learned is to keep things nice and neat. If you are like me, you need a simple open insert. And this insert's layout really allowed me to space out my work. It didn't make things feel cramped. And my handwriting, I'm pleased with it. It's not the best, but it's going to work. And then I should also add that in order to make things stand out on this layout, I have used spotlight stickers, dot stickers, and even highlighted some spots just to make certain items stand out. And I feel that it makes it look great. It keeps it functional. And it serves the purpose that I was looking for this insert and the planner overall to serve. And so now I'm going to move to the final section of this planner, at least for now, and that is this miscellaneous tab. And for this section, I am using the Duo Notes Planner Insert from Cloth and Paper, which allows me to just kind of put unstructured notes here. You could maybe call it a little dumping area for notes that I can organize later on. But what I liked about these inserts is it split up the blank space and the graph. So it allows for some unstructured note taking, but then at the same time, if you wanted to have a more structured page, you can easily create things like a task or project management page to help you track some of those items that need a little bit more structure to help you stay organized. And then, of course, at the very end of this, I have one of Cloth and Paper's Reverie dashboards. It's actually a pocket where you can put supplies. I'll probably use it for work receipts when I travel, since I need to keep track of all my expenses and do these horrible expense reports. But one thing about this folio is that there's also this pocket where I have been also keeping some receipts and some extra sticky notes. So this has served me well as my daily primary planner. So this one right here is the second planner in my ecosystem and current rotation. Cloth and Paper categorizes this as a notebook, calling it the Undated Admin Perfect Bound Notebook, but it functions like a planner, which is how I'm using it. But let me just show you something here. The spine, you'll see it's not a spiral, it's not discs, it's not rings, it is quite literally a perfectly bound notebook. Thus the name, I imagine. So anyways, there are three main parts to this planner, and they're all pretty self-explanatory. I'm going to start at the front of the planner. They have these blank monthly calendars, and basically, I've been filling it out since the start of the year. Because they are blank, you can decide whether you want a Sunday or Monday start. I like a Sunday start for my content planning, at least, which is how I'm using this. This planner tracks all my social media content for the week, and this monthly page provides just a little monthly overview of that content. So, for example, I've got Happy Hour Live marked here by this page flag. This page pin marked when I was going to be out of town, but I was still going to do some content just in a different setting. You also have the space for tasks, important dates, and what I also like is a little place to put things for next month. Again, you are not going to try and cram everything onto this calendar. It's just to serve as an overview. And I have also highlighted specific dates that I wanted to keep track of and as it relates to my content. For all that other stuff that doesn't fit here, you've got an entire blank page. And that is one component of this notebook that you will see throughout, is the amount of blank space you have to fill up exactly as you need to do that. So this is the month part. The actual weekly layout, I'll show you the latest section I have. We'll start with this page right here. It's marked into 8 boxes. And since I post daily, 7 of those boxes are used to keep track of content that I'm going to post throughout the week. You also have a task list and a section that is marked as habits. And my guess is the intention is to use it as a habit tracker, but I actually use it to keep track of how many times a week I am posting a reel, a story, a regular post on Instagram, or even something related to my YouTube channel. Excuse me. The purpose for me is to make sure that I am providing varied content and not just relying on one component of Instagram, for example. This other page, again, another blank note space, which I love because it provides you a lot of freedom and a lot of space to complement what is currently on this other page. So I've added some deco, some stickers. This is some personal photography that I printed out onto a Polaroid, which is also a sticker. Another quote, and then a list. So here, this is just a planner to-do list since I am posting content related to my planner. And that summarizes this beautiful notebook. It is perfect for content planning for me, and it has remained in my lineup pretty much since the start of the year. And so the final planner in my current lineup came from Cloth and Paper's Commonplace Notebook set, or is actually the subscription box. But if you missed out on the subscription box, you can still get this set on their website. It is listed as the Commonplace Notebook set, and this was one of 3 notebooks that is part of that. So I use this strictly as my weekend planner. As my year started to take off, I noticed that my weekends and even my PTO days started to get really busy. In fact, I didn't even think I needed this until things really picked up. But this really seems to have solved that problem, and at the same time allows me to separate my weekends from my work day. So as we open this up, you will see it is blank and undated. So this allows you to fill in the boxes as you need. And I like this because it allows you to be creative if you want to be creative, but at the same time, in classic cloth and paper style, it is very functional. So I'm just going to go to the latest weekend spread. As you can see, this is a thick book. So this is my latest weekend spread. And I have basically just filled this box with the date. This column is the schedule, and this is for tasks. And that is all that I put on here. I do try to spruce things up with some quotes and some deco, but really I want to keep it minimal, aesthetic, but also something that I can use. And so this is a pretty thick book. If I only use it for weekends and PTO, it is going to take a while to fill up. But for now, it's exactly what I need. So that pretty much concludes my August lineup in terms of my planner ecosystem. I'd love to know how you are using your planner ecosystem and what does that look like. Share with me in the comments. I'd love to learn from you all. And as always, thank you so much for being here. I hope this video was useful, and stay tuned for more planner and stationery content coming down the pipeline. Until next time.